What is going on, Sooner Nation? Welcome back. Sooner Surge podcast on this Tuesday evening, as Jeremy will be joining shortly from Bible study, leaving Bible study. We'll be joining shortly, but I'm going to carry it the first part of the way. Didn't want to be too late, so thought I'd get this thing rolling. How's everybody doing tonight? See a lot of y'all already in here. It is kind of funny. You talk about news today, and there wasn't a whole lot of it, but this right here, Sooner Freak, I was kind of surprised. And the more you look at it, you can say not surprised, because just like I think 918 put in here, Heupel bringing on the trail is a very Sooner thing to do. It's a very Heupel thing to do. It's a very, I know they're buds. They played on the 2000 team together. So I get it. Seth needs a job. And analysts, to me, guys, we've talked about this before when OU, they went and got Kevin Wilson and stuff, right? There's no rules in how many analysts you can have. And I think it's so much now. You see so many teams now that get analysts as like maybe former players that they played with or friends. It's kind of like, you need a job? Oh, come on and be an analyst. Just a buddy deal. Bingo, Clark. Bing, 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 bing. And it is what it is. I mean, helping a buddy out, put him on the staff as an analyst. And it's fine, because analysts, to me, I hate to use this term, and I don't think it's true in all aspects, so don't quote me on this. And please don't quote me on this and come at me. But you won't be helping quarterbacks. When I think of the term analyst nowadays, I think it's a little different, because there used to be a limit on how many analysts you have. Now there's not. So, do you remember in school, I mean, this happened to me quite a bit, where the teacher would assign you busy work. Anybody remember that? You get assigned busy work. I remember getting assigned busy work. Hey, will you write this out all the way out on a piece of paper so we can show your work? It was all this busy work. To me, sometimes the analyst is just doing stuff that needs to be done. Or, I mean, hey, we got this to do. Can you go do this, work on some film? I mean, now you can have so many of them, and it's taking pressure off coaches and other things to do. And I don't know what he's going to be doing, but tells me to keep Josh out of Norman after Joe. Hey, yeah, Josh isn't coming back to Norman at any time, I don't think. I have two questions to ask by Colin. Favorite OU play ever, and biscuits or cornbread? Well, the biscuits or cornbread's not even a question. That's obvious. It's biscuits. Sorry. Cornbread? No. No. I've even had the cornbread with cake mix, okay? No. Give me biscuits any day of the week and twice on Sundays, okay? All day biscuits. Favorite OU play ever? Chester says the Torrance pick six. Boy, that's a good one. I think I have to go back to, there's been so many good plays. And, by the way, we'll get to this in a little bit, Sooner WX. Great job by Sooner Baseball Night. When you think about it, there's so many plays you can go to where there were big plays, but I think it has to be in the moment. The Torrance pick six in the moment, they don't probably win a national championship without that, okay? I mean, that's a huge play. The Superman play is a massive play, but it's hard in the championship game against Florida State, because OU just thoroughly dominated that game, that you can't just say, what? This is a great one, B. This is a great one. The Medina Baylor game, yeah. I mean, you can go down the list. There's a lot. How about this wasn't my favorite play by any means, but I was super pumped, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs, running all over my living room when Caleb Williams came down against Texas, and they were getting destroyed, and they put him in and he goes the distance, running the ball all the way down there on the I think it was fourth down. I loved the play to Baker Mayfield, the pass against Georgia, the Philly special, whatever you want to call it. I loved the Dylan Gabriel a couple years ago against Texas. That whole drive, but that play was great. I mean, you could go. There's so many. I can't put a finger on it. I really can't. There's just so many. I think it's more than just a buddy. Gibbs is not Mike Gundy buddy. Mike Stoops is not Saban's buddy. No. I get it, but also, hey, Soonathon, here's what I'm saying, though. Gibbs was hired by Mike Gundy before there were unlimited analysts. Mike Stoops was hired by Saban before there were unlimited analysts. Now there's unlimited analysts. That's my point. My point is you can bring whoever on now because you can have as many as you want. Back then, Gibbs has been on Mike Gundy's staff for a while, so he got there before there were unlimited analysts, and same with Mike Stoops. I have to think and I have to believe this, and I may be totally wrong and off base, but I have to believe that if there were a limit on how many analysts you have, I don't think Seth Littrell would be going to Tennessee. My thoughts, I think Josh wouldn't be bringing him on. I think when you have a certain number you can have, I think you think a little more deeply about maybe who those few are going to be. That's all I'm saying. The Dylan Gabriel, favorite play, Keith Jackson. I mean, you could go down the list. We could spend all night on this. There's a lot of great plays. Lot. I mean, I'm just sitting there, there's all coming through my head right now. There's too many to think about. But the Sterling Shepard play against Tennessee, down the sidelines, tiptoe, I mean, that was unbelievable. But yeah, what else on everybody's mind tonight? Not a whole lot going on. Hey, well, I'm not even going to bring it up. Maybe we'll talk about this off here. I don't know what's going on. I was on Twitter. I don't know what's going on at another SEC school tonight. I mean, I think if I just brought that up, everybody knows what I'm talking about. But I haven't caught up on it. I don't know what's going on. Kind of wild stuff, though, probably. Go Pokes, Koopa Parody says. Go Pokes. Pokes got the win tonight against Iowa State. Big win for Lutz there. Jedi Master, will Seth Littrell be as much as that? No, because the position he's in is not going to constitute that. He could be a disaster and it won't show up as much as being the OC calling plays. So that would be my only thing about that. Matt Rhodes going with the prediction tomorrow night. OU 74, Kentucky 68. KB, all I'm going to say is some issue with Ole Miss. It has nothing to do with football. It's just that you can go look for it, okay? It has nothing to do on the field related, okay? Maybe I shouldn't even brought it up. Probably shouldn't have. Sorry, guys. From what I've seen from my inside OU football job, Mateer has been very vocal. During workouts, unlike Arnold. Mateer is also, I think Mateer's that type of guy, though. But you also got to look at it, Colin. Mateer's played quite a bit of football. I mean, Arnold was like his first rodeo as a redshirt freshman, basically. Hunter says, should not have, had no idea till you mentioned just now. Oh, have you seen anything on it though, Hunter? I mean, it's all over the place. Right before I got on here, I saw a whole bunch of stuff, so I don't know. No, there are not. Not that I've seen. See the ESPN opinion that Moser is poised to be head coaching. It wouldn't shock me, Jedi. I would not be shocked by that. If they miss the tournament this year, I don't know how you'd bring him back, but I'm not going to be shocked by it. None shocks me these days. Mateer has some swagger. I think he does too. I'm hearing Murray has new darts to throw to pick the starting running backs each week. Who knows what's going to happen there? That's one of the position groups you look at. To me, that's one that you're like, okay, I have no clue what's going to go on in that room next year. I mean, you could talk about O-line the same way. I think O-line and running back on offense, you're like, what's going to happen? Those are the positions you're like, what's going to happen next year? Who's going to be the guys? Hear a lot of good things about some of the young O-linemen. Hear a lot of good things about I think Blaylock's going to be pretty good running back. Not year one. I don't think he's going to be playing that much. So is Barnes going to be healthy? I don't know. Is Sawchuk ready? I don't know. Is Tatum? I don't know. X-Rob would be the guy I'd be like, okay, maybe. But we'll wait and see. Wait and see what happens there at running back, guys. Josh OC is Joey Hosley. Yep, correct. From Oklahoma. Baseball starting off good, dominating performance today. And you know who's struggling is the Texas A&M Aggies. And they lost, I think, their third baseman for the year. He was a great prospect, great player. I think he was third baseman. They're struggling. Baseball starting off great. How high can OU get in the baseball rankings? That's the question. And maybe I did see Hunter. Hunter, I don't know. I'm trying to think who they play that's the next kind of big series for them. I know softball wise, it's SEC playing another week and a half after this weekend. The next weekend, South Carolina play. So don't count on Hawkins. Which Hawkins? Which Hawkins you talking about, Ron? I feel excited to see how soon football would do with all the upgrades. Well, I think we got to wait and see. I'm excited. I'm optimistic. I'm not predicting like 8 wins or anything like that. Quit saying he's a bad running back coach. None of those players are ready to go. Xavier Robinson will tell you. Huh? Kenneth, what are you saying here, man? I'm not basing first off, did bad running back coach come out of my mouth? I don't think it did. I was talking about who's going to play next year, but Kenneth, go ahead and put in the chat. Name the running backs at Oklahoma that have been developed. Go. I'll be here for about 40 minutes or so. Drop it in the chat. Give me the best developed running backs at Oklahoma in the last 5 years. Who would they be? I think Eric Gray, which was I think he had a good second year at Oklahoma. I think Kennedy Brooks got better. I'm just asking. And I never once out of my mouth said bad coach. Never said it. So I don't know where that's coming from. There's the nightly Kel Gundy comment. OU baseball by Hunter. Next big series on the road versus South Carolina, March 14th through 16th. Oh, so both are South Carolina. Ramondre got better. That's a good one, Bryce and Chester. So I like DeMarco Murray. I like him. I'm just saying, development-wise, I'm asking who's the best one. In fact, let me ask you this question, Sooner fans and Surgeaholics, and answer this for me in the chat. Name the best running back in the DeMarco Murray era that he recruited and developed. Because we're talking Ramondre Stevenson and Eric Gray, which are both transferred. So I'm saying name a guy that came in as year one and has just grown to be a really great running back. And I know you can throw injuries out there with a lot of them. I'm not saying that. I'm just asking for some topics here to talk about. And shared by Big. Good to see you on tonight. What's up, Serge? As always, go Tigers. How do you say that? Do you say go Tigers or go Tigers? It's always weird the way that's spelled in LSU. Congrats on the great start to baseball season. It has been a good start, but it's going to be SEC play is going to be brutal. It's going to be a tough conference. We never had any running backs to develop. All these other teams are trying to hire this guy. Did you also? Wait. Kenneth, bro, please. I'm not Jeremy. Okay. Jeremy was way more on Jackson Arnold than I was, but anyway, that's fine. But we never had any running backs to develop. Who recruits them? We never had any running backs to develop. Who recruits them? I'm confused. I think I'm confused on where this comment's going, Kenneth. Just blame it on Germ. I'll just blame it on Germ. There you go, Ron. Just blame it on Germ. They're not firing DeMarco, guys. I don't know why people think that's going to happen. It's not going to happen. I think DeMarco's running backs can develop when there's an OC. And maybe so, Jedi. Maybe that's kind of been the holdup. There hasn't been. But Levy was a pretty good OC. Levy was a really good OC, wasn't he? And I would agree with this comment right here. The two best out of high school would be Sawchuk and Barnes. But neither, I mean, you're talking about guys going in that have been there now. And yeah, they've had injuries. But I'm just saying, like, you would think, okay, Tatum, high recruited guy. High, one of the best in high school. You would think he would be a guy that DeMarco Murray could get to be really good. So he's had year one. We'll see what happens in year two. And then year three, we'll see. I hope so. I like DeMarco Murray. I think he's a good dude. I really do. I think Murray can recruit. I think, in fact, I like a lot of things with Murray. I have one issue with Murray. It's the revolving door at running back, period. That's my only issue with Murray is it feels like it's a revolving door. Do we need to bring up Tolly Walker? Do we need to bring up Tolly Walker? I mean, we can, but it just seems like a revolving door at running back. And I don't understand the reasoning for that. I mean, per Venable, it's the position coach that decides who plays in the game. So not the OC. That's per Brent. So I'm just saying, like, too much talent, good problem to have. There's a lot of talent, but you got to figure out. To me, at running back, to me, you need two guys. I don't think you need more than that to be revolving in there and rotating in. Give me two and go with it. Give me an A and a B. Hey, Kenneth, we couldn't get any running backs because we had a lousy offensive coordinator. So Lincoln Riley was lousy. Is that what I'm hearing? Lincoln Riley was a lousy OC. Jeff Lebby was a lousy OC. Or are you talking about Seth Littrell? I'll give you Seth Littrell and Joe John. But I'm sorry, Lebby was a good OC, and Lincoln was one of the greatest. And DeMarco coached with Lincoln. So I'm a little confused on this where we're getting with this. But Murray was a great back, but not a great coach. I think Murray right now, if you say, I think Murray's a decent coach. He's not great. He's got things he's good at, really good. I think he's good at recruiting. I do. I think he's good at relationships. I really do. I just don't think I think the running backs like him for the most part. I mean, but there's a lot of guys that come to Oklahoma as running back because they want to play for DeMarco Murray. That's a fact. They just haven't put it on the field yet at running back. And you know, maybe so, Kenneth. I don't claim to know everything that goes on behind closed doors at Oklahoma. Definitely don't. Chester, hold up. Both Barnes were top 10 running backs recruit. Tatum top 2, Hicks top 10. And there you go. That's what I'm saying. He can recruit. That's what I'm saying, Chester. He's a good recruiter. On the field, it hasn't happened. The fact that Caleb Hicks, you watch. Just go ahead and book it down. Book it down right now. There's going to be a lot of OU fans upset this year when they see Caleb Hicks on the field in Stillwater. You can book it on whatever date this is. You're going to be a lot of OU fans whining and upset that Caleb Hicks never played at Oklahoma. It will happen because I think he's really good. I don't know how he didn't play at Oklahoma. I have no clue how he didn't play at Oklahoma. Zero. Jay, Chuck, good to see you tonight, bro. Really good to see you on here, man. Hope you're doing well. Chuck says, Jay, have you noticed how we all like nice guys? But that doesn't equal to nice guys getting the job done. Correct. I like nice guys. And 918 also likes Hicks. I do too. All I know, he couldn't be Iowa State or K-State. Whoa. Kenneth, if you're on here telling me that Lincoln Riley was not a good offensive coordinator, bro, I don't know I can't even engage with that. I'm sorry. Surely you're not talking about Lincoln Riley. Are you talking about Lebby? Maybe you're talking about Lebby. I'm confused. But O-line is a major, and this is true. This is something we haven't talked about yet. O-line is a big part of the running game. And I agree with that. The O-line hasn't been good as of late, and that affects the running game. I agree with that. So part of that is, part of that's off of DeMarco Murray. But I'm just saying he's recruited really good. He's brought in great athletes, great running backs, and they just haven't panned out on the field as far as up to the standard you would think that their recruiting rankings would say. Have fun, Chester. Have a good night at work. Thanks for being on here, man. What's up, Corrections? What's up, 6-4 Chevy? Y'all been trashing him all year. OU has never had a problem develop running backs. Huh. Y'all been trashing DeMarco Murray all year. OU has never had a problem. First off, y'all, I'm the only one on here right now. I don't know if you're talking about the chat, but OU has never had a problem developing running backs. Okay. All right. Great OC, average head coach. I right now, I mean, it looks like at USC. Now we'll see. I think USC's got a pretty good staff this year. Look, I saw their staff. I think they're pretty good. We'll see what they do on the field, though. I'm a little confused by some of these comments now. I don't know. This is a weird Tuesday night. There's some comments that I'm struggling with tonight. Jeremy will be joining us shortly. But hey, make sure you check out the Fan Stop. www.thefanstop.com. Code SURGE, you get 10% off your first 3 months. Man, they got officially licensed gear, hats, shirts, hoodies. And you know what? I'm wearing a hoodie tonight. I almost took it off and just wore a regular t-shirt because it was like 70 degrees today. It was great. It was great. So warmer weather's on the horizon. But go check out the Fan Stop. Great stuff. Kenneth, Hicks wasn't a good pass blocker. That's why he couldn't play. Oh, there we go. Now we know. There's the answer. So what you're telling me, Kenneth, is he won't play at OSU either, right? Can't block. We'll see. I just think he's going to be really good at OSU. And I think there'll be a lot of OU fans saying, how come he didn't play at OU? Yeah, very warm, KB. How about the thing, KB, I see you in here. I got to ask, I mean, how about the thing that came out today about Quinn Ewers? Played the whole year, not on a stress oblique, but on a torn oblique. That's kind of wild. 80 in Eufaula, Devin. Yeah, Tatum wasn't either, and he played snaps. Yeah, I'm sorry. They don't even play Hicks 4th string, 5th string. Wouldn't even put him in a game. That is not just a pass block issue. There's something else going on. Those are the 2 defensive coaches that he couldn't be, as you can see what he's done at you. I'm confused. 918. I think DeMarco Murray is a good coach. I truly don't understand the way he rotates his back, especially being a former playing himself and knowing that playing rhythm is about finding rhythm. Bingo! Can we put a ding, 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 star that comment? Flash it on here. That's exactly what I'm thinking too, 918. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I like DM. I think he's a good coach. I don't understand the rotations. I don't get it. And I agree with your last part about finding a rhythm. It's impossible to run 2 or 3 times and go sit for a couple of series and come back. It's just too hard. Find your best guy and play him. Give him rest when you want the backup to come in. Let's go. I mean, this is the way Ohio State did it this year was great. They had 2 really good backs. That's what you need. You don't need 3. You don't need 4. You need 2. Yeah, I heard about it, KB. It's kind of wild, man. Guts, man. Guts. Give it to him. Kudos. Ewers hurt all year, still did not run Manning first. Yeah. I don't think he's overrated, but torn oblique all season, should have visited LSU for that. Yeah. Yeah. Facts 918. People agree with 918's comment. I do too. But we can sit here and talk about DeMarco Murray, but Joe John's a bigger issue than DeMarco Murray, guys. I mean, I think DeMarco Murray, you get a good O-line, but I still think DeMarco Murray needs to stick to 2 backs. That's been his downfall. It's the rotations. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Max says he should know better. So, hey, Hunter, let's drop the phone line in. Drop the phone line in. I think I can do it, actually. I got it, Hunter. But feel free to call in tonight. Give us your thoughts. There it is right there. Appreciate it. Give us your thoughts. Big game in Norman tomorrow night. Basketball. OU, Kentucky. Porter Moser joined Dari Nokwa today on the radio or the show and talked about fans and getting out there. And he would love to see a great crowd. We talked about it last week. Would he throw fans under the bus? He did not. He was very respectful to the fans and said, just need a great atmosphere. So they have a chance to make the tournament. They got to go win their home games, period. End of story. Win your 2 home games and you're going dancing. And I'll wait till Jeremy gets on there to do his little dance because I ain't going to do it. Not going to do it. Yeah, you got to give him props for his toughness. Yeah, Joe John. Neither are an issue if Arbuckle is actually dictating the offense. Tyler, I see where you're going with this, and I agree a little bit. And this was my biggest complaint when you go back to last year. My biggest complaint last year with the offense, it was zero organization, nothing. They knew what was going on. They didn't know how to lead a practice. Littrell, it seemed like nothing was working. You have to, Arbuckle's got to be in charge of that offense, but at the same time, position coaches are big deals. They are. They are with your positions group, your relationships with them, who's playing, balancing who's going to play, recruiting, development. All that stuff falls on position coaches, not OC. But Thunder loss, needs to get back on track. I would agree. If BV can get everything corrected and we can make the playoffs, yeah, I'd be happy too, sir. I wouldn't be I'd be more than happy. I'd be thrilled. I'd be ecstatic. I'd be giddy. Speaking of giddy, Jeremy, you giddy? How's it going tonight?
Absolutely, I'm giddy. And Sooner WX, that may be the understatement of the entire year.
Hey, let me ask you this. I see KB's comment. Let me ask you this, Jeremy. In your opinion, position coaches, top two most important part of their roles. Go. I think it's pretty easy.
It's recruiting and development, Jay.
Bingo. I would agree with you. But I do think also third would be who you play. If you have a problem playing the right guys, but
yeah, personnel decisions are there too. But if you've recruited well and you've developed well, I think it's clear cut on the personnel. Would you agree with this? Teams that have personnel issues or decisions, difficult decisions, in my opinion, are teams that haven't maybe recruited or developed as well.
Say that again.
Teams that have personnel decision issues. In other words, maybe there's some issues with who they're playing or who they're going to play.
I disagree. I disagree with that.
Why?
Because DeMarco Murray's recruited well.
But he hasn't developed well, Jay.
You just said is the development issue because of not recruiting well?
No, I said if you recruited well and you've developed well, to me, you don't have any personnel decision issues.
Yeah, I think you still could. I think that's separate. I think it's a whole different deal.
Okay.
I mean, Caleb Hicks was he sixth string in your opinion?
I can't answer that question. I never saw him play, Jay. What do you want me to say?
By the way, KB's right about they spend the most time with the kids, and I mean they have so many meetings throughout the week that are just their position coaches. Yeah, you also have offensive meetings with the OC, but you have a lot just with your position coaches. You got to be able to lead them.
I couldn't agree with 918 more. Go with two guys.
He's got some good comments.
Go with two guys. Like, this isn't difficult. Maybe a third guy in spots, or if you develop those two guys and you stick with them. Like, this isn't rocket science, DeMarco Murray, okay? To me, I'm just going to flat out say it. I'll say it. DeMarco Murray's a little bit too analytical for me.
How do you know that he goes off analytics?
You're taking analytical a little different than I am, Jay.
Well, analytics a numbers thing, Jerm.
Not everything's not necessarily, Jay.
Do you know what's the definition?
Jason.
What's the definition of analytics?
I didn't say analytics. I said analytical.
Okay, what's the definition of analytical? I'll find it for you right now.
Let me explain now. Jay, are you listening to me?
Well, of course I am, Jeremy. How could I not? You're loud.
Jay, we have a brother-in-law who I think you would agree is pretty analytical.
Analytical.
How you think?
Analytical. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Examining or liking to examine things in detail in order to discover more about them.
Thank you. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with how much you think it. He overthinks. Hey, I don't want to scream too loud. I'm in the parking lot. He overthinks. Listen to me right now. when a guy's rolling with it, I'm not subbing him out, Jay. That's overthinking. And coaches do this all the time. You're pounding the ball all the way down the field on someone. You get to the 2-yard line, and you throw a fade pattern in the end zone. That's analytical.
Okay, but he didn't have that issue with Eric Gray, because I remember you wanted Eric Gray to be rotated in and out. You didn't like Eric Gray that much, but he played him all the time, and they were better, weren't they?
Putting words in my mouth.
They were better when Eric Gray got most carries that year. Were they not?
Who was the backup, Jay?
Marcus Major, your boy.
Okay, and by the way, the only negative thing I ever said about Eric Gray, he wasn't a home run threat, and that's a fact. I like. What do you mean situational, KB? Are you talking about at the running back position?
Well, what about like 4th and 1? You're going to bring a different running back in. Maybe that's what he's saying.
Okay, and Jay,
that's
agreed. I agree with that. You could but you don't need to overthink it. That's what I'm saying. Teams and coaches do this all the time.
Yeah, I'm not a coach, so I can't sit here and say what should and shouldn't be done. I just know they got to be better.
Happens.
They got to be better at running back, period. They got to be better O-line, period. Those two in tight end, those three wide receiver. You go down the list. Offensively, they got to be a lot better. I think they will be better.
Everywhere they have to be. They have to be everywhere, better everywhere. And Kenneth agrees. And when I say it again, Jay, and this is why, in my opinion, Arbuckle should kind of know on his offense what type of back he wants in there in certain situations.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this offense looks like under Arbuckle. I am excited about that, because anytime you have something new, it's exciting. I'm one of those guys. I think new things are exciting. Some people think new things maybe aren't. They don't like change. I like it. I think new things are always exciting. Now, it could turn sour very quick if it was like Seth Littrell last year, but I don't think it will. I think it'll go the other direction, actually. I think people are going to be in love with this offense. I think it's going to be really good. How many wins does it equal? I don't know yet. I'm not ready to sit here and say they're going to win 8 or 9 games. I can't do it. Can't do it until I see some stuff on the field. And I think that's fair. And there's nothing wrong with that. Show me some stuff on the field next year, and hey, see what happens.
What else is going on tonight?
Not a whole lot. Mark says if Oklahoma has a bad season, LSU is having a good season. I predict Kelly insults Oklahoma by having Bauer Sharp throw a TD pass. Another fake play by Bauer Sharp.
I mean, Michigan obviously is going to be important. It's a
big one. It's a big game, Germ. Big game tomorrow night at Lloyd Noble.
Yeah, and I saw Wanye Morris tweet out about going to the game. I saw Dayton Forsyth's attempt to get people there. I got a text message from some guy named Connor Meehan about 2 hours ago from the University of Oklahoma to make sure I go to the game. It's for $20. They're trying. I'm not sure it's the right way, but.
Did you think it was funny that they were like the football players are coming back to go to the basketball game?
Yeah, Jay, it was pretty weak.
It wasn't weak. I'm just saying they're trying to use that to get people there, but it's like I just don't know.
Hey, and Jay, speaking of analytical, I think BV is more analytical as a head coach than he was as a DC, and that's part of his issue. Let loose. Play freely. Coach freely. He's coaching tight, dude.
If BV and Moser switch places, would we know the difference?
Well, yeah.
You know what you don't see a whole lot of? I thought about this today when I saw the 2 football guys that are going to be at the game. You know what you don't see a whole lot of, in my opinion? You don't see a whole lot of football. Even when Venable's like, get out there and support the basketball team. You don't see a whole lot of that.
No, you don't.
I don't know.
And Mark, I agree. He is afraid. He's hesitant. He's not coaching freely. He's coaching tight. And this was kind of the, I guess you could say the downfall of Bob Stoops' lay is he went from a guy who was the riverboat gambler to someone who coached tight, people would say. I think BB's done that in a lot of ways.
But you got to, I mean, he's learning too on the job. It's his first job.
What I will say is what he can't do is to tell Ben Arbuckle, hey, look, we got a lead. I want you to kind of tone it in, tone it down, and let's just get to the fourth quarter and win this thing in the fourth. No, you go all out. You don't change who you are. You don't change identity because of a situation. And that's been a big deal with DeMarco Murray too, Jay, with a lot of OU lately. They change who they try to be. They try to be someone else in certain situations. Be you. Be you.
Yeah. Teresa,
Instead of be you, OU has been PU. Okay? They need to be you instead of PU.
Brent faced the hardest schedule maybe ever at OU. Last year with the Frost Corps at her O-line and backup. What more should he done? Well, I think first off, probably would have been not hiring Seth Littrell. Second off, I understand all the injuries. It was a big deal, and then we'll get to corrections here. But it was a big deal. The injuries had a big say in it. But you could go down the list. I mean, you could say her O-line. I remember the first few games we were on live shows, and a lot of people were saying, just roll Ozida and Howland out there. These other guys are half speed right now. They're injured. Just roll them and let them get some experience early on. Well, they would have been better off if they'd have played those guys early on. They waited too long. I mean, and I know there's not a whole lot you can do with that many injuries sooner or later. I get it. I think it's the 3 years combined, something every year it seems like. But, hey, I'm hoping BB has a killer year this year, man. I hope he's the guy for the next 20 years, Sooner Thrawn. Let's get to corrections 101. What's up? How are you?
Good. Hope your dad's doing well, and continued prayers for him and your family.
Thank you, corrections. Thank you.
So two things really quick. I just think this whole marketing thing for tomorrow is wrong. The way OU's doing it with the 2 for $20, going to a baseball game first, then the basketball game. I mean, you're talking about a workday week where you have to take at least a half a day off of work to go to the baseball game. It's like baseball's doing fine right now. We only have an extra, week and a half left of basketball. We need to be putting everything in there, do everything you can do just to get them to the basketball game. Don't even worry about baseball for the next week. Just my opinion, because, I mean, especially if you take your kids, that's a long, long day.
Hey, corrections. Let's be honest here. If OU baseball were to lose, it wouldn't even matter for the season. If OU basketball loses, they're done.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and the baseball team's playing a nobody.
Open Lloyd Noble Center, free for everybody.
Yes.
Because here's the deal. People would say, well, they'll lose money. Well, you know what? They've already lost a lot of money. Get this team in the tournament. It may help in the long run.
Absolutely, I agree. And the second thing I want to just bring up really quick. I talked to my dad actually yesterday. He was a really good running back in not only high school, but he played at the collegiate level too for BYU Idaho, which when he played there, it was Rick's College. And I asked him, because I was just out of curiosity, and what brought this whole thing up was the whole DeMarco Murray thing, and we have young running backs still getting used to the speed of the game, ball control issues, and a lot of different things. And I asked him, I said, well, what would it have done for you if you had an offensive lineup on the offensive line that you had 7 different, lineups, from tackle to tackle every game for, 7 times a game, for almost every game throughout the season. And he said he would have hated it because, every player blocks different. There's no continuity. And it makes it really hard for a running back to get used to seeing everything that's going on with the same personnel on the offensive line. And I think that, Bill Bedenbaugh, I think he really needs to, at the start of the season, at least by week 2 or week 3, these year 5 guys rolling with it. We're sticking with it for the rest of the season. No more of this musical chairs. And I really think that'll really help out our running back room as well, being able to have some continuity with that offensive line and be able to get used to how they block and seeing things. But
hey, that's a good point. I mean, that's a great point by your dad. I mean, because that's something that seems like for the last 2 years we're waiting on. You're even talking about has the depth chart come out for this week? Who's on two? I mean, that should not be that way. You should know who the running back are, and you should know who the linemen are, unless there's injuries.
Yeah, it was a complete mess, and I know that when I played football in high school, I was an offensive defensive lineman, and you have to have continuity on that offensive defensive line. You have to have it. Every player reacts to different things, different to blitzes. They chip blocks differently, and running backs have to be able to see the same thing over and over. Know how they have to have confidence that hey, this blitz is going to get picked up or whatever it is. And I just really hope that Bill Bedenbaugh really just by week 2 or week 3 says, okay, these are our 5 guys on the offensive line. We're sticking with it the rest of the season, barring injury, and just roll with it and let those running backs start seeing things every game, all game long, so that they can build some confidence.
And on the same note, I'd love for you to ask your dad about the running back situation in general, because back 10 years ago, the running back either came out on third down because they had a third down specialist, or the running back came out when he tapped his head and needed a break. It wasn't, here, you're going to run it down, you're going to run a series, and we're going to put another guy in. Like, same thing in that area, I think.
Right. Well, when my dad played, it was 40 years ago. And the thing is, it was a completely different animal. You're right. I mean, you had one bell cow running back. Unless he got hurt or needed a breather, that's the only time a second player came in. Now you're kind of stuck in a situation. I don't think it's all on DeMarco Murray. Is that you have these players now to where, let's say you have a lot of talent with 3 or 4 guys. Well, if you're not giving them all carries, then they just hit the transfer portal, and then it's, DeMarco Murray, you suck. You can't keep talent in the room. And then if you get an injury, then you're down to your second running back, and maybe there's a drop off to your third running back because someone hit the portal. It's just NIL hasn't helped, I don't think. And
fine line.
That is a great point, because NIL, everyone wants to talk about the money, and I agree that's the big part of it. But there's a lot of other things that have crept in because of NIL. And what you just said, corrections, which is trying to appease everyone. Listen,
yes.
If I try to appease everyone in my job, or if I try to appease everyone in my family, well, hey, if I try to appease everyone in my family, guess what happens? We don't eat lunch because we can never agree on anything. At some point, you got to make the decisions.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, corrections. Appreciate the call, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of the night.
You too. Hey, before we get to KB, I got to say something because I thought about this as soon as you said it, but it was during a call. I didn't want to talk about it. But, Germ, you could give free tickets and free dinner. The place is not going to be full. Sorry. Do what you want. Offer it for free. Give them free canes and free game tickets. You know what? It's not going to be full. Not going to happen on a Wednesday night at 8, Germ. Ain't happening. So do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you do. It's not going to be full. Let's get to KB. What's going on?
Hey, man, I hope your dad's doing well.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You bet. Hey, was y'all's offense young last year?
As far as young as in freshman or sophomore, as far as have experience playing?
Well, either or. But more so younger, like is in freshman, sophomore.
At certain groups, certain position groups, but not
because of the injuries. It was younger than it needed to be, and it was young in the sense that it was a brand new offense with a new coordinator who didn't know what the heck he was going to do, if he was going to keep the former coordinator's offense or his own. So there was a lot of youth as far as the offense in general.
Right. Well, just sitting here listening to all the talk, I kind of going through my head something I thought of. Your defense and your offense was such a drastic difference, and you had a lot of veteran guys on your defense. I was just wondering if maybe BV's weakness is he can coach the veteran type guys and relate to them, and the younger kind of guys, the message is not getting across.
Well, and what I'll say to that is this team had no leadership on offense. And I'm talking from a coach to a player across the board. There was no leadership. And BV, I'm sure because he's a defensive guy, maybe he tried to get in there in the offense. But look, let's call it like it is. He's a defensive guy. He probably felt really uncomfortable or didn't know how to take charge of the offense. And that's, but there is a dichotomy, like you said, KB. There's a dichotomy of old defense, confident defense versus young offense, no confidence.
Right.
And especially young at quarterback was,
yeah. And I'll say it 1,000 times. I know it's not my team and I know it's frustrating, but man, I can't really say too much bad about, I know they look terrible, but I can't really put a whole lot on the quarterbacks under the circumstances last year, man.
We're gonna find out this year.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Quarterbacks, how they play, how Jackson Arnold plays, and then what John Mateer looks like with Arbuckle. But I gotta say something to KB, to you, KB. You are on here every single night. You're in the Discord active all the time, and you're a Texas Longhorn fan. I know people have said before, why are there Texas? I just want to say kudos because I don't know many Texas fans that would sit on an OU channel, but you love to chat it up, and I just want to say kudos to you and that I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it too. I have a good time, and like I said, I'll tell you, hey, if there's something bad going on with Texas, I'll tell you that too. I'm not ashamed of that either. I'm going to call it both ways or ask questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just intriguing to me now that we're both in the SEC. It's just a whole different ball game. It's just wild. So
yeah.
Hey,
all right, appreciate it, man.
You guys have a good night.
Hey, you too. Hey, Germ, we haven't talked about this, but did you see the interview with the SEC Mike?
No, I saw the post about it in the Discord. I did not get to listen to it yet.
Yeah, people were talking about it in the Discord. I didn't have time to been on the Discord much today. But he pretty much was saying that OU fans, they like BV, and I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but it was about basically they're not ready in the NIL world. They're just not. OU fans, OU in general. It was an interesting little clip. I didn't watch all of it, so I can't really I just didn't know if anybody had talked about it to you or anything.
No, I saw the link in Discord. I just hadn't got a chance to watch it yet.
But you know what? All this stuff that you see on Twitter about national people talking about OU, there's one way to fix that. Win. Let's go win next year. Shut them up. That's what all OU fans wanted when they went to the SEC was to shut all the SEC people up. Was it not? I was one of them. Let's go to the SEC. Let's go play these teams. Let's go.
Okay.
And now you've been in there a year, and a lot of people are like, "Ooh, don't know. This is a brutal schedule." Well, it's Oklahoma.
Agree, Jay. Just win, baby. And Lane. Yeah, I don't want to get into all that tonight, this late in the show, but I agree with you. That stuff went hush very quickly afterwards, didn't it? All that stuff that was really the talk of everything for a week or two, all of a sudden gone, no talk, because there wasn't much there, Jay.
Yeah, we'll find out about Nick Anderson at LSU because we'll find out what he does there.
Yeah,
but I do find it interesting. Well, very interesting. I think that you had the whole situation with Nick Anderson, yet one of his best buds and guy that's been injured his whole career at Oklahoma, Caden Helms,
still there.
Yeah, I hope Caden Helms has a tremendous year, man.
Did not go up. No one's talking about him, though, Jay.
What?
No one's really talking about Helms right now. But hey, let me say this, Sooner Cowboys. BV got to stop talking about. I do agree with some of the stuff that BV says. It just needs to stop. Just win. Go win. Put everything you got into that. And listen, when you come to a conference, president say, you know what? We got to win. We've got to win. By the way, everyone knows what the standard is at OU. Why do we got to keep defining the standard? Why do people have to say, well, everyone knows what the standard should be? OU hasn't hit the standard. They haven't met the mark. Yeah. Haven't met the mark in a number of years.
I would agree.
Call a spade a spade. You know what the standard is. Haven't lived up to it. to live up to it, you got to go get it this year. You got to figure it out. And if you don't figure it out, you're not going to be chasing the standard anymore. Someone else is going to be doing it in your place, BB. That's what I mean. That's just how it's going to be.
Captain Obvious, Jay Durbin says. Man, Matt is you talk about Matt. Some of Matt's comments are just he goes all out in a one direction. But
yeah, I would say he is the definition of doom and gloom.
Yeah. Hey, big game tomorrow night.
Massive.
Maybe Oklahoma. Here's what's funny. They were talking about Kentucky having guys out, but then the initial injury report came out and both those guys are probable. So I don't know what's going on the Kentucky side of it.
Yeah, I can't either, but I know Kentucky's gettable if OU plays really, really well, and they got to do it. Got it. It's a must.
Got to win. Got to beat him.
Hunter thinks it's a must win.
It's a must win. Need to win this game. So, oh man, been good, Germ.
Been good. Sorry, I'm late. And I think Dave's there. Hey guys, I wasn't on here early, but I'm here now, and I want to say thanks to everyone who's been on here, joining us on the Sooner Surge for a great Tuesday night. Thanks for the comments, for the calls. I don't know if I missed the Super J. If I did, you can show it or thank the person.
No, you're good. So appreciate everybody being on here. And Matt with the obvious going against OU by 50 points. Not going to happen. But get out there, support them, get the W. Let's get this team in the tournament. Thanks for joining tonight, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope you all have a great Wednesday, and we will talk to you tomorrow night.